Hope everyone's having a fantastic Friday, folks. TGIF. It's the end of the week. The weekend is upon us. And that hex price is looking awfully bullish. Love seeing everything happening. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. I am looking to change the time in which I stream. So let me know if this works a little bit better for everyone. Anyone watching the replay a little bit later, doesn't really matter so much. I appreciate every single one of y'all watching the replay though, and watching the video after it's already up and live. So yeah, feel free to click the like, subscribe button if you enjoyed this content. I do a daily stream live every single day. And of course, we're going to be adding some new stuff to the community here in the very, very near future, probably come February 1st. So stay tuned for that information as we get up to date with all of that as well. But I hope everyone, again, is having a fantastic Friday. Hexologist just finished doing his stream. Make sure everything is coming out all good over here. Oak Hearts, let me know how everything sounds since you're first one in chat. Let me know that everything seems good, seems clear, is easy to hear, and of course, make sure it's all set up correctly. I only changed a couple of things recently, so I try changing one thing at a time because you always want to make sure that if something goes wrong, you can easily identify what went wrong and where it went wrong at. So that is what I'm hoping to accomplish by doing this today, is by having the same sort of sentiment, same sort of style. Let me open this up, switch it up just a little bit for the chat style. And I think we should be all good overall here. Bam, bam. Sounds all good. Clear. Perfect. Love it, Oak Hearts. Love it. Now, let me see if, I'm going to switch up the styles of chat style real fast to see which one looks maybe a little bit easier, a little bit better. I like this one, not going to lie. I do like this. I just think it's a little bit too big. I wonder if I can make things smaller. That's what she said. Anyways, or do we go with this? Nah, either like 4. Let me know what y'all like in the comments down below as well. Do y'all like this style where you can see the message, nice, easy, clear, concise, nice avatar picture as well of Oak Hearts? Or do you like it right here where it just says the name and an easy message? Or do y'all like what we had here where it was kind of a little bit easier, nice little animation that would pop up with it as well? A little bit harder to see what that comment would say. I think this makes it probably the easiest amongst them all to actually see. But let me know in the comments down below what y'all think. All right, good afternoon. TGIF indeed, absolutely academiciated. Appreciate you coming through as always. We got some bullish things happening within our ecosystem for sure, but just along the overall crypto space in general, it looks like things are starting to turn back around. The Fed's finally starting to loosen up just a smidge. We're gonna hear what the actual rates are and everything like that. The animated one looks good. Perfect. Well, Oak Hearts, you were the first one to comment, but anyone else is welcome to also leave their thoughts in the comments down below as well. Let me know. I like the animated one. I do enjoy that style. It looks nice, clear, and concise. The only thing is, I just wish I could increase the font size a little bit more, but maybe I'll have to play with that and see if there is a way to get that adjusted. And I'm going to be switching up my entire stream setup as well, so stay tuned for that because that'll be a shit show. So appreciate everyone who is tuning in right now though, coming in, enjoying this stream. This is probably going to be around the time that I will end up streaming from now on, Monday through Friday. It looks like 1:30, right after Hexologist finishes up his stream. It looks to be a pretty good time along the way. So let me go over here and put this up to where everyone can also see my screen, because why not share the same information with you lovely folks. But I appreciate everyone who's coming through, who's coming in, enjoying their weekend, spending their time with me on a Friday, looking, learning, and just having an absolute blast with all of this information as well. Here we go. We got the price right. And this is on Dex Tools. Bam. Dex Screener, I mean. Here, cool. All right. So here we go. This is the actual price happening right now, currently today in hex, we're sitting at 2.7 cents, folks. That green candle is looking awfully pretty, and ever since that 9 EMA has crossed the 15 EMA, it's been relatively bullish the entire time. We had a slight little mishap right around this time when Richard Hart didn't quite make the announcement of testnet v3 during the hex conference, and he came on. The price wicked down. I was able to actually scoop up some more hex down here by setting this nice little limit order as well. And let me kind of draw so that way it's just easier for everyone to kind of see as well. But I was able to scoop up some nice little hex around this time down here with some nice limit orders. I think limit orders are definitely the way to go. It's just a good little system to go about getting it, so that way I didn't have to worry about trying to be in front of my computer the entire time. I still have limit orders down here as well. Should the price fall back down for any reason, I definitely want to make sure that I'm able to take advantage of those opportunities by scooping up some more hex. The rule of thumb is don't buy on green days, you buy on red days, right? That's the easy rule of thumb, but it's pretty hard for the price to go up if people aren't buying on green days. So kind of that little double-edged sword, right? But there's plenty of people who are brand new to our ecosystem, who are just now learning about hex, who are just now having fun with everything and learning how the entire system, mechanism, staking, community, how everything works. So please be sure to welcome those folks into our community, as we definitely love every single person who gets to come in. I was once brand new in this community. Now I'm doing daily streams live. You know what I mean? There's no telling exactly where the future is going to land. The next person that comes in could be a massive figure in some sort of media stream platform, some sort of figure in sports or anything like that. So always be sure to just welcome people in with open arms, you know, give them that love, share that love with everyone as well, because that's what this community is all about. It's what we've always been about overall. We've had a blast growing, and we'll continue to grow as well. I've seen this comment kind of bring up a couple of times, especially just over in other people's streams, is, you know, what's going to happen with eHex whenever Pulsechain launches. And folks, let me just tell you right now, Ethereum Hex is here to stay. Okay, so no worries if you buy Hex right now, and I can't see the future, but the system is isolated. It's not ever going to change. It's going to continue to pay out exactly like it says it will, as it has done for the last 3+ years already, and it will continue to do that same thing. There is nothing that's going to happen onto the Ethereum Hex. There will be some volatility, of course, when Pulsechain launches. Expect that. Have some plays ready to be able to take advantage of that as well. But also understand that this whole system is all about delayed gratification. So stop looking at things in the short term and start looking at things in the long term. Because folks, when you start zooming out, we start getting bullish. This is when we start seeing this kind of action right here. This is when you start seeing these nice little green candles, these nice little green wicks, and this has been ever since the beginning of January, okay? We've been really on the relative good move on this line right here. So this is kind of my line that I think we need to continue to hold. If we continue to hold that line, I can only see good things happening. We really want to break the 3 cent level, of course, as you can imagine. So I'll just draw this all the way out to 3 cents just so it hits there. But that's really the level that we really want to be paying attention to. 3 cents is kind of the level of resistance that we've been hitting, especially as of recent times. If you zoom out, like we talk about here, 3 cent has been a nice level of resistance for us. We've come down, and I'll kind of draw this here, but we fell down below 3 cents. We came back up. We tried getting above it. We weren't able to pass it. Fell back down below it, retested it again, fell back down below it, and we haven't really had a chance to retest it one more time again. But typically after the 3rd or 4th retest, that's usually when you start seeing things start breaking out into the upside. So the idea is that we retest here, we probably come back down here, we may play in this little wedge pattern here for a little bit. As you can see, this does put us into roughly about the middle of February. So if you're looking to make plays in Hex, this is probably where we're going to end up, you know, sitting for a little bit of time. We're going to be in this 2.5, 3 cent range for a period, and then it's going to break out one way or another. It's either going to go down or it's going to go up, right? And so we just need to wait and see what really happens there. Of course, we know that once Pulsechain launches, man, this thing's going to be up and away, you know what I mean? So this is when things start getting really interesting, actually. Because folks, there's a chance, and I love what Crypto7 said in his stream a couple days ago, right? He had thrown out this idea that what if Richard Hart doesn't launch public testnet v3? What if there's a chance that testnet is on private the entire time, and then we get the announcement of Pulsechain maybe within a couple day windows, so you have to make moves relatively quickly? That is a very interesting perspective, and the more I gave it some thought, the more I really become more bullish on the idea that that would be a really, really good play. Why? Because you don't have the same people who are going to come in and launch. You aren't gonna have the same people who are going to come in and take advantage of this price action of Hex. Hex is going to be hurt the most in terms of volatility when Pulsechain launches. Why? It's going to be the easiest, fastest way to get into the Pulsechain ecosystem. It's going to provide the most liquidity. There's going to be the most people who know about it from Hex. A lot of people are sitting on the sidelines with dry powder, just waiting to get back in on Hex. And the only reason why they're going to get back in is to make the play on Pulsechain, whether it be to do swapping, ratio trading before the bridge exists. And people are going to be trying to play that game, ratio swapping between Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulsex, between all four coins, the Pulse on both networks. People are going to do a ton of different stuff happening relatively fast in the very beginning. I do find that to be the best way, though, for Hex to have its easiest chance of recovery, because what I can see happening, unfortunately, if Richard Hart does decide to announce that we have V3 testnet, I've talked about this before, but if Richard Hart decides to say, hey, V3 testnet is now public, have fun playing with it, guys, I do see the price of Hex easily kind of going back up into the 4 cent, 5 cent range, probably relatively quick, right? It all depends on where it ends up falling, but I would see it falling right here in this range probably pretty fast. That's a nice 2x from where we currently are, and then I could see us even going anywhere between 2 to 10x of where it really is if Pulsechain decides to stay here that entire time. So that would put us here in this 226 range, 26 cent range. Now that would be obviously great for Hex. You can imagine if we got this price action and went all the way up here, phenomenal. Everyone's going to be super stoked. Everyone's going to be super excited. And it's really going to be a massive time for a lot of folks to be finding out about Hex, learning about Hex, because when do people want to talk about it? When do people want to FOMO in? Well, they like to FOMO in when things are going up. They don't want to miss out. They don't want to miss out on the chance of getting a nice 2x gain, 3x gain, 5x gain. So a lot of folks are going to be buying during this hype. The downside to it is if Pulsechain doesn't launch within a week or two after, Hex is probably going to end up taking a big heavy hit right on down here, and it could dump also right back in this below 10 cent range, because people have a very high expectation. Unfortunately, I know there is no expectation from the work of others. Clearly, we know that to be the case, but people are going to have the thought in their head that Hex could, Pulsechain could be delayed longer than anticipated, and then you're going to have people freak out just like they did in mid-May, just like they did back here. And folks, if we go back to the mid-May area, this is when we actually got to see that Hex price drop right here. Was mid-May. Everything was going good. Everyone was getting hyped about it. Everyone was super stoked. Mid-May came and left, and everyone just got super bearish on the entire ecosystem of Pulsechain, Hex, Richard Hart, and Hex took the heavy hit because of Pulsechain, unfortunately, right? And so we know that unfortunately this 10 cent range that we're gonna see is probably gonna get tested. Excuse me, I don't know, I got allergies going on or something. I don't know what's happening, but this 10 cent range is gonna get tested again, right? We can see that easily. I could see that easily happening if Pulsechain does not launch. Why won't you scroll over? Whoa, hold up. That was weird. My mouse just had a little freak out moment. So I could see the 10 cent range getting tested again should we be delayed. Okay, I could definitely see that being the case. Let me just zoom on in so it's easier for me to see and y'all to see. So I could see this being the case. Now, what I think could be the best play for us would be if Richard Hart didn't make any statement about Pulsechain, if Richard Hart didn't make any statement about the launch of Pulsechain, and all it is essentially a news of Pulsechain launching within a couple of days. What would happen would be you would still get the same hype cycle. Hex would probably end up going back up. Nice 2x, right? Nice little 2x, because there's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines, folks. A lot of money. So Hex would get this nice little 2-cent range. I got the sniffles today. And then, or the 5-cent range. And then Pulsechain would launch, and we may only see it dip back down, you know, in this 3-cent range again, maybe even retest 3 cents again. But I think it would be a lot more effective doing that. Yes, there would be less people playing the game, which is part of what the strategy is by doing this. Richard Hart does not want people playing this game. He doesn't want people trying to game the system. He doesn't want folks dropping a whole bunch of cash into Hex, converting it once it gets copied over on Pulsechain, swapping everything into Pulsechain or Pulsex, and then dump everything back on the Hex network, because that will really hurt Hex. And Hex is probably his main #1 baby. You know what I mean? That's the thing he's been most proud of, especially over the last 3 years. But not only that, he's been working on this since 2017. So why would he want to see his baby get hurt? And I just don't see that being the case. Why would he want his baby to get hurt, right? He doesn't. So what's the best play in order for his baby and Hex, in this case, not to get hurt? By keeping everything on the super down low, which he's doing, by having V3 testnet run awesome and amazingly on the private version of testnet. Right now we know there's a lot of stuff happening. Things are getting copied, things are getting done that way. But in this same scenario, we could easily start seeing, you know, people start getting hyped back in again about Hex. We see it right here. It's already happened. Right? It's literally happening from this day. From the beginning of January, we've been on a nice bullish momentum here. We'll probably continue this bullish momentum all up until middle of February, it looks like. This is when things will either go up or down. This is when that little area, the line of resistance, ends up coming to play. I'll make that easier so y'all can see. I have a 3-cent line there if you couldn't see that. But this is when things are going to start actually happening. They're gonna play this little system. We're gonna play in this little wedge here for a little bit. Guys, all this can go out the window within seconds with any news of Pulsechain. Okay, let me be crystal clear on that. This isn't financial advice. You do not make financial decisions based on hope. Hope is definitely not where you make financial decisions. What you do is you look at where everything stands and see the risk to reward. And right now, the risk to reward is relatively low, in my opinion. The risk right now getting Hex is around 3 cents, 2.5 cents, 2 cents in this range, versus the reward that it could go up back to $1 or back to 50 cents is very likely. So again, I'm not a financial advisor and I definitely cannot see the future. But what I can say is that if you were buying at 50 cents thinking it was going to go back up to 56 cents, that's really not that much of a gain in profit. You're buying at 2.5 cents and it goes back up to 50 cents. That's a 25x profit. So you play this game in order to win, and that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to win during this entire time. So I'm going to get rid of these lines because, again, who really knows exactly how it's going to play out? All I know is that just by looking at these metrics alone, I am definitely bullish on Hex, folks. This is making me happy to see. As long as we stay above this 9 EMA versus 15 EMA, that's the other thing that I'm looking for. Is as soon as I see this kind of cross back down, usually when that happens, we get some bearish action to follow. So just keep that in mind. But overall, right now, we got 125 buyers. We have 93 sellers. The reason why the green candle is green today is because, again, as always, like Richard Hart says, the green candle is green because when you have more people buying than selling, you're gonna have green candles, and that's what we got going on right now, folks. 152 buys versus 114 sells. People are definitely getting back in the game slowly, steadily, and surely. and something that I Shirley, don't call me Shirley. Let me check on chat real fast, see what's going on. I'm assuming Pulsechain will come out without a public testnet. Oh shit. Oh, Cards, my man, dude, right there with you. I'm right there with you, and I gotta agree. Like, you know, I've thought about this. Richard Hart said there would be a version 3, but he never said it would be public. He never said anything about it going public. He said that we'd be able to actually get a chance to play with it or anything. He just said there would be a version 3. And I think he said it on Hexologist's stream, if I'm not mistaken. And then he also kind of said it during the Hex conference, right? He's like, okay, you got something out of me. But there will be a version 3, but he never said it would be public. And so that got me thinking, like, holy shit, there actually might be something there. Because this again, like, yeah, Okarts right here, massive comment, says it right there, you know, easy. I assume Pulsechain will come out without a public testnet. This will help the price of Hex rather than a fake pump. Yes, exactly, Okarts. And that is the one thing that we don't want to have happen, especially with Hex. Like, if you are in Hex for the long run, while it may not be that big of a deal at this moment in time, right? Because it's like, again, guys, when you zoom out, you got to be in this for the long haul. Who cares what the price is doing this exact moment in time in terms of what your actual future plan is within the ecosystem? If you believe in the coin, you believe in the founder, you believe in the project, you believe in the community, all those things come together, and you decide to make your own purchase, and you're holding this for long term, then this is just merely another sentence in what is a chapter in this portion of time, and what is the whole book of Hex, right? And so, again, looking things from a macro perspective, we're bullish as fuck, right? I'm bullish AF on this for sure. Do I see Hex end up getting to $1 to $3 in the next bull cycle? Yep. Right? I could see that being a possibility. And so if I'm seeing that being a possibility, and again, just $1 from here would be a good 50x in price, you know, or whatever. What would that, yeah, would it be 50x? Drawing a blank on math for whatever reason. 50 times 0.025. I would put it at $1.25. Okay, cool. So 50x would put it at $1.25. I'll take that all day, right? 50x your money. Incredible. Guys, to 10x your money, I got to see probably the fastest 10x in my life whenever I got into Hex. And that was what made me so bullish on it. And then I learned so much more about the entire process, about crypto, about everything else. There's a massive thing that you end up getting, the belief that you can have within the actual coin, with the ecosystem, with where it's going to go in the future. Once you see it do something once, it's the same as like, now you know it's possible, guys. Before, there used to be no man that could run a 4-minute mile. That was thought to be impossible. It was literally never been done. One person does it, and then everyone has their freaking minds blown, minds fucked. They're like, oh shit, a 4-minute mile? Now I need to get there, right? And then you have so many more people who can now do 4-minute miles. That was incredible. You just had to see it. Well, think of that same belief as Hex, right? Once you see it, it's done 56 cents before. So why can't it do it again, right? Why won't it do more than 56 cents? You've already seen it do many 10x's, right? In fact, a 10,000x from the lowest point in time. You've seen it do a 10x, 100x, 1000x multiple times. So if it's done it before, why wouldn't it do it again? Okay? Especially if it's something that has good product market fit, a great community behind it. The activity that you get on Twitter from the Hex ecosystem is like, you want some virality, just talk with the Hex ecosystem on Twitter. Like, say, outrage this, anyone in crypto, and then the Hex community is like, kaboom, and fucking smashes everyone. Smashes. Okart says, he said that version 3 didn't need to be public in one of his older live streams. Oh my gosh. Yes, exactly. Bullish, dude. That's bullish news right there, folks. Absolutely bullish news. Speaking of news, let's see. The SEC just recently also rejected another spot Bitcoin ETF bid by ARK in 21 shares. ARK has yet to convince the regulators that its ETF can protect investors from market manipulation. And if you scroll on down here, another day, another refusal by the SEC to allow the Bitcoin ETF to launch in the US. The latest rejected proposal came from Kathy Wood's ARK Invest Group and Crypto Global ETF providers 21 shares, which for a second time joined forces in an attempt to launch the ARK 21 shares Bitcoin ETF. It was initially filed in late last year in May, and again, it was first turned down. An ETF, or short for exchange traded fund, is an investment vehicle offering indirect exposure to an underlying asset. The reason why Grayscale is doing as bad as it is right now, because Grayscale is essentially the one who's really being hurt by this, right? Grayscale is really being hurt by the SEC in this regard, because people have no ability to sell their Grayscale. It's just a ability to put it within their, say, 401ks or IRAs or whatever, so they can get it, but they can't get out of it. And so now, because people haven't really been able to get out, though, people stop buying, and now the difference between spot coin and the Grayscale was like 46% at one point in time. An exchange that lists Bitcoin-based ETPs can meet its obligations under the Exchange Act, blah, 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 blah. That's why the SEC explained in its rejection, right? The ETF would also give institutions a green light to effectively buy Bitcoin when they are otherwise barred from doing so by internal charter. This has made crypto bulls thirsty for such a product to hit the US. No dice so far. And this has been many times that it's been rejected. They keep trying and they keep trying, and then they keep getting rejected and keep getting rejected. In its own filing for a similar product, Grayscale argued that it could enter a surveillance sharing agreement with the same market when launching Bitcoin spot ETF. The SEC did not recognize CME Bitcoin futures as adequately related to spot Bitcoin because they have Bitcoin futures, but they don't have the they don't allow the Bitcoin ETF. So it's just funny because this is actually coming from Grayscale. Shares of Grayscale Trust were trading at an unprecedented discounted rate discount of 35% following the SEC's rejection of its application to transition to a spot market ETF. And this has been continually every single time that whoops, my bad. I heard just an ad coming out of nowhere, and I was like, where is it coming from? All right. So, folks, just checking this out. I was trying to see the other day kind of what's going on with some activity. I found a new website that I was really trying to get some more information on. I haven't really been able to find it. So if y'all actually know how to use this website, it's a really cool website that actually checks out liquidity providers in certain areas, especially for Ethereum. I was trying to go through here and compare and contrast like maybe some whales or sharks who could possibly be in the liquidity provider for Revert. And it was actually kind of neat because you can then search this whole website and it allows you to see basically AMM liquidity. And so it actually does quite a bit, but I wasn't able to go through and find anything. There was one that I'd found a little while ago. Let me see if I can go back and find that one. Keep going back and back and back. Those are the top positions. These are top positions in Hex, Ethereum, and these are always, good to know for if you're ever just trying to see some Hex, Icosa, who's providing liquidity, who's doing what. This is what this website is showing, actually. It does a really good job actually breaking it down into how much they have, what they're earning, why they're doing what they're doing. All this good stuff is all shared right on in here. Hex versus Lucky, Hex and Base, Hex and Deci, Hex and Icosa, Hex versus Wrapped Ethereum, Maxi and Hex. All these things are definitely providing, these are folks who are providing liquidity in this range, in this area. I had found one the other day and it was just kind of brought to my attention. That's where I started diving into this website. So let me see if I can go back and find it once again, because it showed basically someone who was providing liquidity didn't have much liquidity left, and these were one of the people who were selling they were exiting their liquidity positions and selling it for you know, USDC or liquid stable coins, so that way they could do what they do there. I'm trying to see if this is a website or if this is the account. 3F63. But again, guys, I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. I know I am super bullish on what's going on with everything in the overall market, because whenever I go over here and I not only look at like trading view, and this is another little thing, you can see the heat map, things are turning nice and green over here, folks. Like, you can see a lot of action, a lot of activity is going on. People are starting to get nice and bullish again in the whole crypto space. There are some reds, of course, and this is a performance based on the day. We can sort it over here by week, and look at that, folks. That's when you know things are getting bullish. Look how much green there is. Green everywhere. Everywhere, right? This is bullish to me. This is the overall crypto space and the crypto market doing their thing, and this is them showing that, like, yeah, guys, we're back to being almost in that bullish range again. I think there may still be some pain to come, of course, and who exactly knows how it's all going to play out. We definitely won't know for sure, but whenever I start seeing everything green, I mean, that's a pretty bullish thing in my opinion for me, myself, and what I look at. We got Hex green over here for the week at 13, almost 14% green. You got other coins over here, you know what I mean? Like, guys, this is pretty big, right? You could zoom on in and go all the way down to all these coins who are at the bare bottom of everything happening, and there's so much green still all around. Look at all this green. So much green. So much green. Love it. I love it. Love seeing it. Love being a part of it. And it's just an absolute blast seeing how everything's going to end up shaping up for everyone. So, of course, we got the SEC news. Went over that. Puppy's barking. I don't know why. Can you get a refund on Porsche, Yuga, or other NFTs? It depends. NFT companies that fail to acknowledge an obscure 1997 law may be obligated to refund European customers in full for past purchases. Oh, that's awesome. After Porsche released its debut NFT collection earlier this week, most breath was spent skewering tone-deaf pricing and initially miserable sales. Days later, a small mandatory checkbox featured the project's minting process had stirred another controversy, one with further reaching implications for the NFT crypto community. All would-be Porsche NFT owners were required to agree to terms of service that would waive a so-called right of withdrawal in order to mint their NFTs this week. While most customers had likely never heard of such a right, it was clearly important enough for the German auto manufacturer to include. And this was basically a tweet of what it actually looked like. Something that caught my eye on the Porsche NFT mint page that just may change the entire game for everyone, and no one's talking about it. It was literally this right here, and again, it's hard to see, but it basically says, I agree to read the terms and conditions, and I have let me see. I agree to the immediate provisions of the contract service receiving the NFT, and I have been informed that I hereby lose the right of withdrawal. And that's what it says right on down here in this little picture. I can go to Bentley Hush. I can go on down to the actual picture here, and you can see what it actually looks like for everyone if you wanted to see it yourself. But this is them. This is them basically saying right here, I agreed to the immediate provisions of the contractual service, i.e. receiving the NFT, and I have been informed that I hereby lose the right of withdrawal. And then they have a little asterisk next to it. This was actually pretty interesting because, again, lose the right to withdraw established in it by an obscure 1997 EU law requires any person or business engaged in distance selling, the act of selling a product that a customer isn't buying in person, to allow the customers 14 days to return that product for a full refund. In the case of digital goods, that 14-day period can be waived, but only if customers are made aware. It makes perfect sense why Porsche would want customers to waive that right in the NFT floor collection prior. The NFT's collection's floor price dipped below its initial price of less than 1 Ethereum on secondary markets, which it already did earlier this week. European buyers could turn around and demand Porsche to refund that initial coin in full due to that handy little checkbox. However, such an option is off the table for Porsche NFT holders. Other NFT collections may not have dotted their I's so scrupulously. So basically saying that like other folks who are doing these NFT protocols, and if you're in the EU, you might be able to actually get some of that money back. If a company fails to inform a customer of their right of withdrawal, those customers don't just have 2 weeks to get a full refund. They have a full year. Let's go. That shit is hilarious. So I've mailed Yuga asking for a refund on my other deed NFT. I decided to email Yuga Labs and ask them for a refund on my other deed NFT, which I believe is a statutory, which is my statutory right under UK law. They replied, and of course I asked GPT to write the email for me. So let's see what they replied. I'm very curious to see what they replied, because this is always good to know. Oh, they didn't reply. He said, of course they didn't reply. Of course, I asked to write the email for me. They replied. Did they reply? For example, I meant to. But Paul, I hear you asked. The 14-day period has passed. The EU. All right, so I don't know exactly what's going on there with that particular one, but that's a pretty funny indicator right there. Yuga Labs, the $4 billion company behind the dominant NFT collection Bored Ape Yacht Club and metaverse platform Otherside, may be one such company that failed to notify European customers of their initial right to a 14-day refund window. So, guys, if y'all have NFTs and y'all are in the EU, might want to look into this EU law. And clearly you can use ChatGPT to write the article for you and basically come up with a better strategy to, you know, get your refund done. So I would definitely make sure to send that refund if you are in the UK or are in the EU. Yeah, Yuga is incentivized to stick with such a policy. Originally cost 305 ape, or roughly 5,800 at the time to mint. These days, in the depths of crypto winter, the collection's floor price is less than half of that, with $2,500 according to secondary market, NFT, or OpenSea. Prices since taken the matter to Yuga's legal department. He told Decrypt that he's speaking to numerous lawyers interested in escalating the issue. Oh shit, that's hilarious. Under UK law, if a company such as Yuga continues to refuse to offer a refund to the customer after being found in violations of the nation's distance selling regulations, it could be fined by an unlimited penalty or even exposed to criminal liability. People clearly don't understand this, and they're just cocking it up to basically just like someone saying, oh, this is nothing, but this is actually something, and it's something real big. So keep your eye on that, because guys, we may end up hearing something more about people suing Yuga Labs and getting NFTs back, and European, you know, clients and customers who are purchasing NFTs to be refunded in full. And if they're not refunded in full, that they could, oh my God, this could get big. Salmon, who has previously consulted European regulators on the drafting of the crypto policies, thinks American companies often forget to consider legal realities of other markets, even when those markets constitute a core part of a company's customer base. Yep. The episode highlights its growing pains of the crypto industry, exploded in popularity over a very short period of time, producing practically overnight hundreds of multinational companies responsible for hundreds of billions of dollars worth of novel assets. Woo-wee. Oh my goodness, folks. Get ready, because I'm curious to see where this ends up leading. I would definitely like to know, because that is something that that you see not too often happen, but when it comes around and it goes crazy too. So get ready if that's something that y'all are seeing in your own version. If you are in the EU, maybe you can get it back. ATX Hexicans, what's up, Big GZ? Appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you coming through the chat. As always, an absolute banger of a time. It's Friday. We're just having fun looking at the overall bullish market. Everything's green. Everything's nice and pretty. Things are nice and moving up. We got Hex price going up, doing its thing. Looking at the weekly even. Hex green for the week. This is a weekly chart of Hex right here. So you can see nice little action going on over here. We really want to break the 3-cent line, but then again, you really want to break 5 and so on and so forth. We can keep on going up to levels of resistance that we'll end up facing, but we're not there quite yet, but we're getting there. So let's see what we got going on with Bitcoin. Bitcoin was really the one who really started moving things in the overall market, because you can see at one point in time it got as low as 1,500, and that seems to have been the bottom of Bitcoin so far. Not sure if Richard Hart's call still stands of 11K and pray, only because all the platforms that went bankrupt didn't actually sell their assets, or they haven't had to sell their assets. They haven't been forced to sell. They haven't done anything like that. So it's pretty interesting that, you know, everyone, especially in our ecosystem, is still thinking that Bitcoin gonna come on down here to this 11K and pray range. Really be curious to see if we end up getting there, because you got to imagine that would be, from where we're currently at in price, that would be a good, you know, 50% drop in price still. And I don't know if it's got a 50% drop left. So curious to see what ends up happening. We got Bitcoin doing its thing. Ethereum will follow right behind it, being green as well. Okay. All right. But yeah, folks, this is what's happening in the overall crypto sphere of Hex, the overall crypto market. This is us taking a quick gander, a quick peek of what's going on. I appreciate anyone tuning in, checking out the stream, coming in, enjoying some fun entertainment. It is Friday. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I got some things prepared in terms of, I got some things for coming to the ATX crypto gang and community come February 1st. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll be releasing that and more information as we go along. But guys, I want y'all to have a wonderful day. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below what you want to see in the next video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.